Hi, good morning. I just wanted to do a follow-up from yesterday when I made that choice to meditate and really let go of the energy that I was holding on to. And I wanted to share a little bit more about that experience. Initially it really was this sense of wanting to take in whatever hurt, whatever pain, whatever confusion this individual was holding on to, and sitting with it, and then doing that as, you know, I was breathing in, like as if I was breathing in all of that hurt or confusion and pain, anger, and sitting with it, and in my mind just visualizing that I'm transforming that, so that when I breathe out, it would just breathe out love, right? The energy would just kind of flow out to him. And this concept I actually picked up from, I've mentioned it before, that book, Welcome the Unwelcome by Pema Chodron. I'm going to master her last name. But anyways, so she mentions this concept called Tonglen. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly as well. But basically, it's saying that this concept of just being able to sit with any discomfort, you know, sitting with that raw feeling of anger or disappointment, sadness, just instead of running away from it, just sitting with it and knowing that you'll be able to do that is very empowering. And then to add to that, right, so, you know, breathing it in as if you're embracing it, breathing it in as if you're wanting to be friends with the discomfort, so that you're not running away with it, which I thought was extremely amazing and a different take on deep breathing. You know, in mental health, we definitely, and I might have mentioned this in another video of or another recording of just video dating myself, but this concept of deep breathing, right? And so when, at least when I've practiced it with others, we try to do and incorporate that guided imagery as well of you know, letting our clients know, okay, breathe in the good energy, breathe in the whatever, you know, just the positive, whether it's a positive light, healing powers, whatever. We're imagining that we're breathing it into us, right? Because we're not feeling well. And then when we exhale, we're exhaling all of the toxins. We're exhaling all of the whatever it is that we don't want to sit with, we're letting it go. And so when I read this concept of Tonglen, and just shifting how you know, how we can potentially use this practice, this technique, this coping mechanism, if you will, differently, really made my eyes open in terms of just how we're continuously contributing unknowingly to that negative force around us, right? Or not the negative force, but just the energy around us, right? We're adding to the negativity, basically, is what I'm saying. And so so I thought it was really beautiful to view it in this different way of just and empowering, you know, because we're often running away from those feelings of discomfort. We cope with distractions, right? We cope with watching TV to not feel, to kind of give our minds a break of what's going on, or we cope with running, right? We get mental clarity when we're exercising and we're grounded in that moment. But even that, sometimes we're breathing out, like out of frustration, right? When we're doing something intense, an intense workout, we're listening to music, you know. So it's just, we're oftentimes just distracting ourselves as a coping technique, and not to minimize it. It serves a purpose, especially during crisis situations where you can't really use that thinking part of your brain. You're really just kind of like operating on this high level of response rate, and you really need to just kind of like give your mind a break. So it serves a purpose, those distraction type of coping techniques. But this particular way, I felt it was, instead of running away with it, it was just sitting with it and embracing it, and like you're gently confronting it almost. That acknowledgement of, I don't like how this is sitting. I don't like how you're sitting with me. If I were to talk to my emotions, I don't like how you're sitting with me right now, but I'm not going to push you away. I'm gonna force myself to sit here with you until I can transform it, until I feel comfortable enough to own that feeling, to accept it as part of who I am. And then once I'm able to do that, then I can imagine myself transforming it. And when I exhale, I'm exhaling love. I'm exhaling positivity. I'm exhaling a breath of fresh air, even though it's the opposite, right? Because it's carbon dioxide that we breathe out. But just, you know, I mean, visualizing that I can potentially do that. Kind of like when you're giving CPR to someone, right? You're in essence still breathing out. You're breathing life into another individual, even though it's carbon dioxide, but there's still a portion of oxygen that comes out with that. And so yeah, so it just that ended up happening while I was meditating, and just I started tapping into the different chakras that I'm familiar with, because I know there's many of, and focusing on the ones where I felt that were the most challenging for this individual and for myself, because we are, I sense that, I mean, I haven't spoken to this individual in a while, but I sense that we are probably experiencing similar things at the same time. And so I did that, and then once I got to my heart chakra, I really embraced the feeling of sadness, and it's still there. I think a lot of it is the grief. The grief and loss of it. I mean, as it is, it's been difficult to not have this person by my side. You know, when you just know there's this other half of you in existence somewhere, going through things, and this was so not what I expected to touch on. But I guess it is. It is what it is. It's embracing that. It's still, this person is still very much part of me underneath it all, as much as I try to lie to myself. But anyways, yesterday, it as I was taking that time for my heart to really acknowledge emotionally where I was with that, and sitting with it, and just really focusing my energy on just transforming that feeling, transforming it into love, and just sending it out into the universe, right? Knowing that it would get to this person, and just and then I use those words that someone, I heard someone share about, I think it was Christina Lopes probably, regarding your twin flame, the words that you, the best words that you can tell this individual in your life, and that's, you are free, I set you free, you know, even though there's this intense connection between us, I set you free, you know, I wish you well in whatever journey you go through and path and experiences, and I set you free. I'm not holding on to, you know, a fantasy or a dream, because in this moment we're just in different places, and just recognizing it and accepting it, and loving where we are, you know, even though we are in different places, loving the fact that we're still experiencing things, we're growing through these experiences, and just the knowing that even though we don't know what's gonna happen, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. So that felt really good. It feels really good right now, just saying it out loud. I think I'm gonna have to sing it out loud more. But I'm getting there. I'm for sure getting there. Just, there's always a sense of this overwhelming emotional response. It's really unexpected. I really didn't expect this. I didn't expect this. And at first it was extremely scary, because of the intensity. It was just so scary. And apparently there's all these phases and transitions, and everyone has a different take on just how to cope with it, and how to, you know, there's this really high vibe, a couple, twin soul revolution, or twin flame revolution, something like that. Amazing couple. They're very high vibe. I really enjoyed listening to them, specifically regarding twin flames, and their outlook on you know, you can work it out. You can work it out. It's gonna be hard, but you can work it out being together. And then there's other individuals that are, no, it's, you know, twin flames are, that's not the, you know, the focus. It's so much more than that, and you know, it's the end mission or whatever. And what I'm learning is that it's not even about the end mission, you know. It's not even about the label, you know, because I will admit I was really focused on the label. I was confused about the label. I think I even pinned the label on so many different people because of just the intense emotion that those other relationships also had, or I had with them, from my part. And I can only speak from my perspective, not the other individuals. But I even thought, I'm like, oh my goodness, can we have more than one twin flame? Because this is really intense. But I'm realizing that it's about the process. It's about the journey. It's about the lessons, the moments of pain, of hurt, of joy, of love, because it's really in those moments of vulnerability, of sadness, of disappointment, of hope. It's those moments that can really transform your life, right? All it takes is one moment to transform your life. And you know, I forgot who said it's about the journey, not the end, the final destination. So that's what I'm learning. And I'm so grateful, so grateful. So for not just this particular individual that has really transformed my life energetically, mind you, because I wasn't even in the same room with this individual as I was going through my transformation. I just felt the energy, and it's a very surreal and just bizarre experience. I guess I'm still processing it. Maybe I just haven't given myself the time to process it. It was really more of the healing, the acknowledging what the lesson was in that particular moment, because it really was an ongoing process. I mean, it was the longest it's been. We're what, October? What's today? I don't even know what today's date is. 21st? 21st. It's October 21st. And this whole process started the beginning of September. It was the beginning of September, so it's been a really emotional and intense 2 months. Almost 2 months, a month and a half. It's been really quick, pretty intense. I had to call off work a lot because the tears were just coming. I mean, I realized I was operating more on the thought, the mindset, right? I was I can describe emotions. I could tell you what emotion it was. Did I allow myself to feel the emotion? Very rarely. And if I did, I just packaged it up and, you know, put it back away. But just being able to have moved away into my own space, my own sanctuary, I think really helped that process. To not have someone constantly over your shoulder. What's going on? Are you okay? Are you going through depression? Because I've had a depressive episode before, which I learned also mimics this process of spiritual awakening. And a lot of people were really worried that I was going to fall into that depression state of mind again that I was in like 11 years ago. But it's different. It's definitely, well, at least for me, I can only speak for me, my experience. It felt different. And I think a little piece of it was because I was doing research at the same time, and so trying to figure out what was wrong with me, right? And even using that word, what was wrong, I shouldn't say wrong, what was different, right? What I was experiencing. And so Christina Lopes was a big piece of that. Twin Flame Revolution, another key player in that, and Mary Jo also, and Ali. These are individuals that I've never met before, but they feel like home. You know, social media and internet, those were the voices that I was listening to and learning from, and so that helped with this experience to not feel like I was going crazy, even though that thought was in my head. I'm like, am I going crazy? Am I going crazy? I would even ask the people closest to me that I was still interacting with during that time frame. I'm like, this is what's going on. I'm not sure, and do you think I'm crazy, right? Constantly like throwing it back at them versus really looking at myself and trusting myself, trusting my intuition, and telling myself, I'm good, I'm okay, I'm good. You know, this is okay. The hurt is okay, the pain is okay, what I'm processing, how I'm doing it is okay. Reassuring myself. There was so much self-doubt, and hence the creation of all the post-its around my mirrors. I was trying not to look at my reflection, but really looking at the words and just kind of, you know, restructuring my own cognitive errors, you know, cognitive thinking errors, and which is part of cognitive behavioral therapy, you know, which was really helpful. So yeah, this totally wasn't supposed to be about twin flame. It was just to kind of share, like, I feel good. And so going backtrack to the point that I wanted to make was that this whole period of insomnia also, where I literally was only sleeping like 2 to 3 hours, I actually felt more rested last night. I really felt like I was able to sleep a little longer and didn't wake up in the middle of the night. Had a dream that I'm trying to remember, but just the overall experience was just like, okay, I feel at peace. You know, I feel at peace with that choice of just setting that energy free and freeing myself in that process, you know, freeing myself to explore new things, interact with new people, and just shine my light as best as I can, knowing that I'm still learning and I'm still growing and embracing that role again. I think I've always embraced it, but really truly highlighting it even more so, the importance of being a student in your life versus I'm going to overcome my childhood and get into adulthood and take charge of my life, right? It's really just embracing, always being the student, always looking at life through the eyes of a child, and realizing it and being grateful for that experience when you know, when you are able to do that, because life, it will get hard, and there are things that will bring you to the present moment, like children or responsibilities, but whenever you have that ability to just look at a flower, you know, and appreciate the colors and appreciate the smell, that the odor, the perfume that it gives off, the shades of green, and how it, you know, changes to brown as it gets closer to the ground, and just appreciating the little things, being present in that moment, and in awe, really being in awe of the beauty that is all around us, that we forget to slow down and take a look and appreciate and be grateful for. I feel like this whole COVID experience has really forced us into that discomfort, place of discomfort, and still working to try to transform us into looking at ourselves, at our loved ones, and at our world in a different way. And I know it will take time, but we'll get there. I think we really, truly will. Yeah. So, much love.